welcome to Turbocharged. I'm Abhay, and what I have here with me is something really interesting because this is a pre-production prototype. This is the new Hyundai Alcazar that's just about to go on sale, but we've got a chance to test drive the prototype before that. And well, this is a very interesting proposition from Hyundai because one way to look at the 7-seat premium SUV space is that this segment is very nascent right now. And truth be told, until a few years ago, 7-seat SUVs were prohibitively expensive for most Indian families. Usually you only had 5-seat SUVs, but the last couple of years have really seen manufacturers come up with more products in this segment and of course wanting to meet the demand that is coming up from the larger Indian families. So which is why Hyundai is going in for the Alcazar, which is based on the Creta. And it's a very interesting proposition because the Creta is an SUV that has really set some serious benchmarks. And it's going to be powered by two engines. One will be a 2-liter petrol engine, naturally aspirated of course, and this is a new and slightly more powerful version of the 2-liter engine that we have seen in the Tucson. Of course, the Tucson engine made 152 PS, this makes 159 PS, while the diesel on the other hand is a 1.5 turbocharged diesel engine, and either of these engines can be had with a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic gearbox, which is a torque converter. We've had a chance to drive only the petrol manual version of course, and you also have 6 and 7-seat options. The biggest change that Hyundai has done to the platform is it has increased the wheelbase. In fact, Hyundai claims that the wheelbase of the Alcazar is the longest in segment, and that's something that has been done in order to ensure that there's enough space for all 3 rows of the seats. The longer wheelbase of course means an increased overall length, and as you can see, if you notice the rear pillar, that's where you see the bulk of the length. And truth be told, I really like the way it has been executed in terms of the design because visually that rear pillar looks very appealing here. It's not like an afterthought, not like an add-on. It feels like, in fact, it almost feels like, you know, this is how it was designed and then the Creta was made with a shorter wheelbase. That's how interesting it is, and of course that translates to a lot of space inside. But for now, we are not really talking about the interiors because the interiors have been masked completely. We did get a chance to sit inside and experience the second and third row of seats, and it's interesting to see that now Hyundai is really trying to peg this as a very grand and premium 7-seat SUV, and that's where the 6-seat SUV or the 6-seat version of the Alcazar is going to be very interesting. And that's because there's 2 captain seats in the middle. Along with that, you get a fixed armrest along with storage and of course a few other additional goodies as well. So the idea is to not just pamper the driver, but also the second row occupants, because this is an SUV which may or may not be driven by the owner himself. And that's a very interesting thought. Moving to the third row, also it's interesting to see how Hyundai is offering dedicated blower control, and you also have USBs on both sides. And that is something is going to be appreciated by the kids in the family obviously. We got a chance to drive the petrol-powered version, the manual version of course, and it feels quite interesting because this, like I mentioned, the engine is an evolved version of what we have seen on the Tucson. And that means that there's better NVH levels, the refinement levels are higher, the engine feels smoother, more refined and punchy right from the word go. In fact, it has a very sporty vibe to it. The torque spread is quite even, which means that you have a lot of torque right from low revs all the way up to the higher rev range. And that overall makes the Alcazar not just a family SUV but quite an engaging driver's SUV as well. Overall, in terms of dynamics, I really like the balance between ride and handling that the suspension offers. And of course, this was just a short drive, and once we get more time to spend in the Alcazar driving it, we'll definitely be able to tell you more about how the dynamics and how the ride and handling package of this SUV is. Hyundai is entering some uncharted territory with the Alcazar, which is the premium 7-seat SUV space. But the very fact that the Alcazar is based on one of the most successful Hyundais ever, the Creta, is something that makes it really interesting and very exciting as a proposition. Of course, it will take on the likes of the upcoming Mahindra XUV500 and the Tata Safari primarily as a 7-seat premium family SUV. And in that sense, it feels well equipped, has all the tech, has the equipment, and some tried and tested powertrains that are smooth and powerful and definitely reliable as well as we have seen in the past. Overall, this does seem to have a lot of potential, and once we drive it, once we spend more time with, we'll definitely be able to tell you more about it. But for now, this is it. This is Abhay signing off from Turbocharged. If you like this video, do make sure that you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel as well.